I only ever use two. Hi, hello, welcome back or welcome to my channel if you're new around these parts. Today I'd like to share my writing tools. Well, the only two that I actually use. And you'll be delighted to hear that they're free. Before I get into them, I'd like to put emphasis on the word writing tools. If you're a fantasy writer looking for map making and world building tools, I use two other tools, again, both free. But I prefer to talk about them in a separate video. I will be diving a little deep in explaining today's writing tools, and I feel like the video is going to be long enough without the map making tools. So, without further ado, let us start. The first tool is the one that I use for brainstorming, mind mapping, and some planning and plotting. Milanote. I've actually only started using it about 2 months ago. Before that, I was using Photoshop to brainstorm my projects. Let us take a look at it. This is the homepage of their website. You want to click on the sign up for free button. The cool thing here is that you can just sign up with a Google or an Apple account. Now I already have an account, so let me just open my homepage. The free account will only allow you to create 100 notes and files in total. However, for now, they offer users the chance to earn more free space by inviting their friends or colleagues to become users themselves. For that, you click here and they'll give you a link that you can send your friends. If they do click on the link and create an account through that link, you earn 20 more cards or notes or files. For each user you bring, you earn 20 extra cards. As you can see here, I've already invited 2 people, which has earned me 40 extra cards. Anyways, these here are my different projects or boards. Now, you could just start working right away in this space, but I prefer, and I would advise you to create a new board or project instead. That way you'll find it easier to go through your different projects. In order to create a new project, you go over here to the toolbar, boards, and then you drag and drop it in your workspace, like so. You can name it whatever you want, and you can even pick an icon and a color for it. The app recommends icons based on your title, or you can just select an image from your computer, like I did. This is the book cover of my romance web novel. Alright, let's double click on our test project. Immediately, you'll notice this little window here. They offer templates as examples in order to illustrate what you can do with their app, which is genius if you ask me. They have something for everyone, it seems. Mood board, creative brief, project plan, a storyboard, and many more. Let's click on more options and go down to writing. Here is an example for a novel plan. Character profiles, world building, story map, and more here. If you decide to use one of these templates, you can just click on use. And hop, all empty and ready to use. If you decide that you don't want to work with the template anymore, you can just delete everything and go from scratch. Let me go over the tools over here. Everything you saw on the template seconds ago is available here. The first thing is a note. Again, you drag and drop. You can change the background and stripe color like so. Here's what you can do within the note space. Let's, for example, write something. You go over here and make it a title and give it a highlighting effect and then center it. Then we start writing our premise. If you want to add a link in here, you simply select the word to click and put your link in this space. You click outside the note and voila, this is a note. Next, links. It appears like so, but you can customize it. Here we choose a color. We decide if we want to put an image or not, and then if you want to modify the image, you hover over it and left click. You can do many things, like change the image and upload the one you want. You can also hide the description or modify it. You add a reaction, but this is useful if you're working with a team you share your project with, or if they share their project with you. If you want to put all of your links in one place, you can just convert it into a column by left clicking and choosing Group into a column. With that, you can add more links into this space. And then, if you want to hide them to give yourself a cleaner view, you can just collapse or reduce the column like so. Amazing! Next, we have the to-do list. You drag and drop it, and then you start adding in all of your things to do or tasks. You may add a title to it and choose a color for the section. If you hover over this button, it allows you to reorder your tasks. And if you click here, it allows you to put a task under another. A little like titles and subtitles, they'll basically be kind of linked together. You may add a due date to each task as well as assign the task to a member of your team if you work on a group project. Note that in order to work as a team, you'll need to upgrade your account, so you'll have to pay. Arrows. These will allow you to connect your information in a project. They can stick to edges, so you can connect whichever note you want. You can also bend them to fit a certain space by clicking on this middle button here. You can change their color, remove the arrow shape from the start or the ending if you just want a straight line. You can add label on it. You can make the line dashed, and you can also control the width of the stroke. But notice that if you hover or click on every note, any note really, you'll see this little white button. And if you click on it, it'll transform into an arrow that you can drag towards another note or whatever you want to link to it. Next, notice here that you still have the board button, which means you can create a board inside of a board. Say it's a character sheet, for example. If you double click on it, you can work inside that new board. It's like the inception of boards. You can see the path here. If you want to go back, you just click on where you want to go back to. Next is the column, which we already saw a little bit about when we did the links. Drag and drop it in your workspace like so. You can change the title. You can change the background color and the stripe color, the column, just like everything else basically, with the exception of the to-do list. You come here and double click on cards to create a new card. Within these cards, you can write whatever you want. Note that within a column, you literally put whatever you want. You want to-do list. Inside, you add one. You want to add a link, you add a link. An image, you add an image. A video, you get the point. Within these three dots, you have more options, like a sketch if you draw, either with a tablet preferably, or with your mouse if you can. You may change the width of the stroke, the color. You may erase entire lines, select a specific line, or draw again. Once you click out, you exit the drawing space. You may then scale it to your liking, like so. Colors. Add colors with their hex code or through this color selector, like so. You may choose what kind of code display you want, either hex code, RGB colors, and more. You may hide or show or change the description of the color. A text document. It works as a normal text document. You simply write in it. Say you want to put the draft of your first chapter here, for example. You can export this document into one of these formats available here. Audio. You can paste a link from SoundCloud or Spotify. Same for maps. Paste a link from Google Maps. For videos, either a link from YouTube or Vimeo. A heading is just like a title. The table is like an Excel sheet. It basically has some of its features that you can explore on your own time. And then a comment. This is a feature that you'll use on group projects. You can collapse them like so. Images. You can either upload from your computer or pick one from what they have available. Remember the free stock image websites, Pexels, I included in the book cover videos? Well, that's where Milanote is getting these images. This image, you can rotate or crop, you can draw on it, and you can give it a stripe color. This one is upload a file or an image. It should go into unsorted section until you find where to place it. The draw function here is for you to draw on the workspace, hand draw arrows, for example. Let's zoom out, and this project looks disgusting, my god. You can scale it to fit the screen, like so. You can hide the toolbar. You can share your project by inviting people as editors or as viewers only. You may set the permissions you give your viewers, like if they can add comments or not, reactions or not, if they can draw. Here, if they can download our project or not. And down here, once your viewers click your link, it'll tell you how many people viewed your project. You can invite people either via sending invitations through emails or send an invitation link. Kind of like Google Meet works. Note here that this isn't the equivalent of group project options like Teamwork. Those are premium, although I'm not entirely sure. You can try this and see if it's a premium option or not. I haven't tried it since I haven't shared my projects on Milanote with anyone. Not yet, at least. Here are your exporting and downloading options. You can try these on your own time. I'd like to move on to my second tool. This one I use for my drafts and manuscripts more, but I also use for some outlining, plotting, and planning when I feel like it. I am sure you know this tool. It's none other than Google Documents or Google Docs. I've been using Google Docs for a while now, mainly for my scripts, but to be honest, even though I use Milanote, I still go for Google Docs to outline chapters. I don't know if it's because I got used to it, but it feels more comfortable. My full plan for my romance web novel is in Google Docs. I am doing a full and detailed recap of it in Milanote though. Alright, let's get started. My interface is in French, but I'll explain everything to the best of my abilities. Google Docs is available to anyone who has a Gmail account or a Google account. It's a web app, browser-based, and it is attached to your Google account, which means that you can access it from any device so long as you log in with your Google account on said device. It's mostly free. Yeah, there are a few premium features here and there, but I've never felt like I needed those advanced features. Now, the really cool thing about Google Docs is that you don't have to save your progress while working. Every word you type is automatically saved. At the very top, we have the title and menu. If you click on this blue page up here, it'll lead you to the homepage where all of your documents lie. To create a new document, you can either click on Empty Document here, or go to File, then New, then click on Document. Here you can modify the title of your document. You can open an existing document from your computer or your Google Drive, etc., etc. You can share your document with other people by sending them a link. Although, note that in order for them to be able to see the document, even with a link, you've got to modify the permissions from only you to everyone that has the link. You can send the document via email, you can download the document in the format of your choice, you can relocate it to a place of your choice, add a shortcut to it in your drive, delete it, whatever. This one is the history of your document. You get the entire history with dates and all. This feature allows you to work without the internet, which means if you don't have internet, you can still open this document and everything you do on it will still be saved. For the language, I believe it's the language you type in, not the interface. This allows you to configure the page, such as the format of the pages, the margins, the color of the page, which would be the equivalent of dark mode, I guess. This lets you switch from a page to a non-page format. You'll have this entire space to work on. This is for printing if you want to print a document. Moving on, insertion. You want to insert an image from your computer, from the web, from your gallery, your drive, a camera. Well, you can. You can also crop the image, but you can modify its dimensions as well. You can control its placement. And if you click on these three dots over here, you'll find everything you can do with your image. Here is creating a table or board option. This is what I used to create my characters list. As an example, I'll recreate the same board. Let me start with a 4x4 columns and lines. Then look here. I have relevancy, name, and role. First, I'll make it as big as I want it to be, like so. Then, I'll pull these lines and set them where I want them to be. Next, I select these two cells and fuse them together. After this, I want to separate the main characters and secondary characters. So, I'll fuse these two together. Done. Next up, within the main characters, I'd like to distinguish between the protagonist, antagonist from the supporting characters. And now, say I have more than one protagonist. You come to this cell, you left click and select add a line under it. But notice here, it divides this cell too, so I'll have to fuse these two. And here's the thing, you can either keep adding lines underneath and then use all of these cells in the end, or you can simply come to any cell here except the last one and then add cells under it. And look, you don't have to fuse anything here anymore. You just have to reorganize the names of your protagonists based on the order you want. Same thing for supporting characters. As long as I don't add from the last cell here, everything is fine. Now, I'd like to create a greater distinction between these two sections, something that jumps to the eyes. I simply select this line and change the width of its stroke or the style of the stroke. And here it is. You can control every individual line separately. But you have more options. If you click on properties, you'll have more to work with. Then we have the intelligent chip. Look here, for example, I'll put a date and it appears like so. You can insert a document and be able to access it, which would be great if you created separated documents for each character sheet, for example. You can gather all of them in a board. You can put an event from your agenda. I think this is linked to Google Calendar. I'm not sure. I've never really used it. A drop-down menu, if you want, for example, to mark which chapter you've edited or not. It's great to keep track of the status of your projects. Links. Let me show you how I use links. Let's go to a characters list. See, this is a normal text, right? I click on a name and up, I click the link, and I am at this character's sheet. Let me show you how. I select the text, then link. It gives me a bunch of suggestions here. This T icon means that I have in this document a title called Nathaniel Whitemane. I select it and hop, it'll lead me to his character sheet in this document. Now this is where I will talk about the plan. Let's create a plan. In the plan, what appears are the titles that you create. So, you have a number of title types, the biggest one, and the others come under it. Example, I click here to make it a title, and it appears here. Let's create another and give it title 1. And as you can see, it goes under the big title, like an invocation or something. This honestly is an amazing feature. You can hide the plan if it bothers you or not. All the titles become links within this document. That's how I was able to link my character names in the list to their sheets, which is super convenient. We've got grammar and orthography assistance, number of words, gives you the number of pages, words, characters without spacing. And if you click here, it'll be displayed down at the corner here. You can choose what to display, number of words or letters or pages, and this number represents the total amount in the entire document. But if you select a paragraph, it'll give you the number of words in that selected paragraph, which can come in handy when writing multiple chapters in the same document. Examine suggested modifications. I think this is when other people make suggestions on your document. Compare documents. You can compare two documents on the screen. Citation. You can cite somebody or something with great amount of details. Now this is a dictionary. If you write a word, it'll give you synonyms and meanings and all. Translation. Recording in case you can't type. And this is for notifications. I don't know, I'm not sure. I have not shared any document recently, so I haven't received any notifications about it, I guess. Yeah. These are the two only tools I use, which are more than enough for a beginner like me, since they're completely free. For fantasy maps and maps in general, I also use free tools. Well, one tool is not so free since it's Photoshop, but I might switch to a free tool very soon. But anyways, I think it should have its dedicated video since there is so much in it. I'm going to end this video right here. Please leave a like or subscribe if you liked it, and maybe even a comment if you have something to say or a question to ask. I do hope I was able to help someone, at least, as I hope to see you all in the next video. But until then, please take care of yourselves and stay safe. Bye-bye.